What if I told you that Letitia James is now facing heat not just from Donald Trump and his allies, but from inside her own former office? Yeah, you heard that right. The legal drama just took a wild twist, and it's not coming from Mar-a-Lago. So here's the scoop. Letitia James, New York's Attorney General, is catching major flack, not from MAGA world, but from Brian Ginsburgg, a former top attorney who actually worked under her. We're talking about a guy who knows her playbook inside and out. Ginsburgg was an assistant solicitor general from 2019 to 2022 and is now stepping forward to basically say, "Hold up. Is this even legal?" He just filed a legal brief with the U.S. Supreme Court. Yep, the highest court in the land. And what's he asking? For the justices to pump the brakes and define the limits of how much power AGs like James really have. The case he's flagging? A Title IX lawsuit against a school district in western New York, based on just 4 reported incidents of student misconduct. Just 4. But here's where it gets spicy. Ginsburgg is essentially saying, this feels less like justice and more like an agenda. He's calling it overreach. And he isn't alone. He pointed directly to a recent 2024 ruling from a New York state judge, Justice Alio Kaliakovo, who smacked down James in her separate lawsuit against PepsiCo. The judge didn't mince words, saying her legal actions were more about punishment than protection. Translation: the courts are starting to notice a pattern. And so is Ginsburgg. He flat out told the Supreme Court, "Hey, this is the same AG who was just criticized for going way too far in a completely different case." And for anyone keeping score, that aligns exactly with what Trump's lawyer Clifford Robert has been saying for months. Letitia James is mixing politics with prosecutions. Now, don't get it twisted. Ginsburgg isn't out here giving fiery pressers. He's not on Fox News doing the talking head circuit. But he let his legal brief do the talking. And that brief carries weight. This guy's no slouch. He argued big-time cases while in office. We're talking the 2021 lawsuit against the NRA, and even defending New York's COVID-era religious gathering restrictions in 2020. Fast forward to now. He's representing the Niagara Wheatfield Central School District, the same one James sued in 2021. She says those 4 student incidents are part of a bigger concern and justify her using this big legal hammer called Parens Patriae, basically, a law that lets state AGs step in for the public good. But Ginsburgg? He's calling foul. He's saying, look, if this kind of litigation becomes the norm, we're setting a precedent that lets state officials bulldoze institutions with minimal evidence. 4 isolated incidents shouldn't be a blank check for sweeping lawsuits. It's a matter of due process, people. He's now asked the Supreme Court to review the case and decide, are we protecting citizens or just flexing political muscle? And while all this legal dust is flying, it gets even juicier. There are now reports, yes reports, that the U.S. Department of Justice is sniffing around Letitia James herself. The alleged issue? Mortgage documents tied to properties she owns in New York and Virginia. Now to be clear, there's no official confirmation from the feds yet. But where there's smoke, you know the internet's going to find fire. And politicians are already reacting. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik? She came out swinging, saying, "This is exactly the kind of double standard we've had enough of." And she's not wrong to point out the irony here. Let's rewind to early 2024. James was standing at a podium, proud of her $486 million judgment against Trump over what? Alleged misrepresentation of financial documents. Now, she's being scrutinized for mortgage paperwork. You seriously can't make this stuff up. So now the question becomes, if Letitia James has been using her office like a political battering ram, who's holding her accountable? And if her own former team members are raising red flags, how deep does this go? We're still waiting to see if SCOTUS will take up Ginsburg's petition, but if they do, it could redefine how much power state attorneys general really have. And that could be a game changer. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Is this justice or political overkill? Is Ginsburg a whistleblower or just a bitter ex-employee? And should the same laws AGs use against others be used to investigate them? If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a deep dive into what's really happening behind the headlines. This has been your No Spin, Full Truth Recap. I'll catch you in the next one.